We logged onto map 212. That's the map we're starting to work on because we need to take it over. Lo and behold, right in the middle of enemy territory, in the middle of map 212, we've got a base that Fort took, and he left it at 14 guns. The only problem is, we have to do this in a very limited amount of time. We have to do this in the time frame that we know Fort will be off, because all he has to do is shield. Secondly, we're right in the middle of his territory. It would be nothing for him to come and surround us and completely wipe out everything that we have, regardless of the defenses that we have there. The travel time from where we're attacking to the nearest planet, there's just too much time there. Unless we get a head start because we see him coming, there's simply too much time there for him to completely wipe out what we have, at least wipe out a good chunk of the Karls. We've got 12 Karls that we're working with here that we need to make sure are protected, but we also need to make sure we get this planet on the outer edge of their territory. What we're going to do is we're going to see the best way to do it in a neat and orderly fashion to get it done as quickly as possible. Now, as you just saw, I was moving fodder from my home map, Whence, to map 212. Right now we're putting the fodder on a safe planet while we're still moving the Karls into position. The reason why I didn't record this as I was doing this, I'm actually recording it afterwards, is it was late at night and I didn't want to wake up my son. Chris is going to eventually be coming around. See, there's my Karls there. They're currently traveling up from where I did have them stationed in a safe space. Actually, on one of my next videos, I'm going to show you the best ways to store your capital ships to at least mitigate the chances of them getting destroyed from a superior force. A lot of this is just a waiting game until we actually get all of our forces in position here so we can attack the planet. Alright, I'm just going to skip ahead here. No sense in you watching the whole entire setup. You can clearly see how we have things set up once we start the attack here. Alright, so now we have the Karls set up. The next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to take these Rabos, I'm going to place them around near the enemy planets to make sure we don't get attacked from those locations. They'll act as beacons, they'll act as sensors to light up any enemy ships that may be coming towards us. Now you can do these with many different types of ships, but predominantly the best ship to do this with is a Rabo. It's got the most firepower. It's transparent, it's invisible to the enemy. And it has a wide viewing range. It has the widest viewing range of all of the ships, with the exception of the detector. Alright, we'll go ahead and start here in a minute. I'm just moving the Whence into position. The quicker you can get this started once you get set up, the better, because that means the quicker you can get out of danger. Just because you're the top alliance or the top group on the map doesn't mean that you're completely out of danger. You still have to treat it as though you can be attacked at any time. It's important, if you can, to move all of your assets into position of the wormholes prior to you actually starting the attack. That's what I'm doing here with the ammunition. When you're in a contested area like we are here, speed and time is of the essence. The more quickly you can do this, obviously, the better the outcome will most likely be for you. And as long as your target individual A isn't watching this map, or B isn't constantly refreshing his battle report to see if any guns have been taken, you'll be just fine in taking your planet. Because we need to do it quickly, because it is blue, we're going to use Karls almost exclusively. If it was red or if it was green, we would use predominantly cells, just because you use less resources and it's ultimately quicker. So we have started the attack. We have 14 blue. It's not going to take any time at all to take care of this with 12 Karls. Now you see we have Ian and Gypsy. Wait till I move back to the map here. Leave it to me to accidentally log out. Now notice I'm transferring over this ammunition while the wents that I have already over there are in the process of being destroyed. If you're able to, if you have 2 or more people playing this, one can watch the map. And if you get attacked or he sees ships coming, he can warn you if the enemy is coming, so you can quickly switch back over. Minutes and seconds count, especially when you're in a contested area. As you can see, Gypsy and Ian both have a lot of Aquin there, and they have a lot of MAU. The MAU and Aquin in conjunction are going to serve 2 purposes. 1, he can toss it into the planet if the individual or your target suddenly comes on, and lengthen the amount of time that the planet is occupied before the other individual can shield, before your enemy can shield. Keeping your enemy from shielding is vital. You're not going to be able to take the planet with any kind of efficiency with it shielded. Second purpose for having Aquin and MAU together in conjunction, other than protecting the Karls, is if he sees something coming towards us, he can then chase it and safely go over enemy planets with the MAU. With the Aquin, without the Aquin, the primary asset being destroyed. Now, because I'm almost out of metal on that particular map, I needed to queue up production for metal so I can produce more ammunition. I'm currently in the process of trying to find ways to do it more cheaply so I can then share it with all of you. Like I said in my other videos, this game is obscenely expensive. The cheaper you can figure out how to do it, the longer you can play, and the better your gameplay is going to be. And because, some people, like I've said several times, some people choose to refill those. Ian's one of those individuals who refills them. I don't. For me, it's more economical just to burn them. It adds extra fodder. It gives me more time to bring more fodder or ammunition over to the map. It also keeps the guns occupied without having to use more expensive assets. Right now I'm just getting the last of, I think it's the last or second to last group of fodder that I'm going to need over here. Again, it's best to refill your queue as soon as you start sending them over. A, it takes care of it so you don't forget about it. And B, more often than not, you may need that last 1, 2, or 3 groups that queuing it will provide in order to get your planet. That happens more often than not, quite a bit. Now you see Ian here, he's using his MAU and his Aquan. He wants to get this done quickly too. That's why he's putting all those assets in there. Normally you just use fodder, it's a lot cheaper. This, on the other hand, MAU is far more expensive than Wentz. But he also has the ability to produce them for free. So if he were to lose them, it's not that big of a deal. He just produces them overnight. Still, ultimately, it's much better for getting a planet quickly, or at least more quickly, than using straight up Wentz or fodder like that. And now that I got a few free groups opened up, I'm going to continue sending ammunition over. Can never have too much of it. Much rather have too much than not enough. Because if you don't have enough, that's going to leave a lull in the planet. You're going to end up wasting your fodder. And potentially anything else that you have there. Fodder in a planet without ammunition hitting it, it's complete and utter waste of not only time, but of your resources. Because he's using his MAU, I'm just getting rid of the ammunition because I have to bring more over. It's still far more economical to do it this way. Because Ian needs many more planets on here. I have more planets than any other individual in my particular alliance on map 212. Ian is going to be getting the vast majority of planets that we get out from here. Now, I'll pick up a few here and there. But he could use them, and it's far more beneficial to him and the alliance than me continuing to get more and more and more planets. So, when you're an alliance, you have to think what is best for the alliance, not what is just best for you. Sure, you may want more planets. You may want to have the most. You may want to be the biggest and best on your map. But if you're working as a collective, that isn't necessarily what's best for you, and especially isn't what's best for your alliance. You need to think of your other alliance members as well. You cannot just think of yourself. And it looks like there's about 5 guns left there. Not going to take too much longer at all. This is actually a very quick planet that we were able to get here. Ian and I worked like a very well-oiled machine. If you're in an alliance, you and your other alliance members can do the exact same thing. You practice on easy planets, then when you have to go into a contested area like here in map 212, map 212, you can get in, take your planet, defend your assets, and get out quickly. Actually, that's another thing. When you're setting up your queues, make sure you don't waste your titanium when you're setting them up. If you have a queue left of 6 and you want to max out the queue, set your maximum queue at 190. Set your maximum queue at 196. Don't set it at 200. You'll end up wasting 1 titanium, setting it over the max of 196 for the queue. Now, you may think that's insignificant, but if you do this over the course of days, over the course of weeks, months, and eventually hit years of playing like I have, it will all add up. I've saved thousands in titanium by not going over the given queue. I'll show that a little bit more detailed in an upcoming video here. I'll kind of make a tips and tricks video. along with how to save you as much as you can. Here I'm just going to add in my Rabos. It's not necessary, but it adds just a little bit of punch to the planet. It may save an extra few seconds to a couple minutes here and there. If you look right here, we can go to safety to the left, we can go to the safety straight up, but it's right down. If you were to have a mass of ships right here, shoot right up, there would be nothing that I could do. Especially if the ships are faster than the speed of 2. Say they're the speed of 3, 4, or even 5. If he's got a bunch of Rabos or a bunch of Tigs that he decides that he wants to descend on my Karls here, granted, he's going to have a bad day because we have just at guess over 20 Karls. I'm sorry, not 20 Karls. We have over 20 Rabos that you can see. We also have another 10 that you're not able to see because we don't have them visible here on the map. So whenever you go into an area like this, and say you play the game and you happen to see me, or see our alliance, take note of what you can see visibly, what you can view, but also take note of what you can't see. There's at least 50% more that you can't see. If you go to attack, you're going to have a bad day. That's something else that you can, take in your gameplay. You have assets that your enemy can see when you're saving or when you're trying to protect your assets. Then you have some set aside that they can't see. That makes the individual who's attacking you, they're gonna think twice, maybe 2 or 3 times before going at you again. You need to project power in this game. If you project weakness, you will get walked all over. And as you can see, we quickly took the base. Well, quickly, it's all relative. We took it as fast as we could possibly take it. The enemy didn't see where we had anything. He didn't see that we were taking anything. He apparently wasn't even on, which is fantastic if you can swing it. So what you do, I'm not going to show where we hide or put the assets back. But we send them up and over and we put them back into a safe space. Well, like I always say, if you have any questions, comments, anything that you specifically want to know, all you have to do is simply ask me down in the comments. I will be more than happy to help you out. As always, thank you for tuning in. Like, share, and subscribe, and take care, my friends.